Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Golden Opportunities Coaching practice. So, hopefully, there are things on this channel that you enjoy. We've got over 360 audios for you to check out, variety of topics. Like, subscribe, comment below. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so we can add some much needed influence to the charitable contributions nature of life, and we'd like to do that. We need you to subscribe. If you could do that, click that subscribe button. That would be really helpful. Today we're going to talk about um, kind of something that's a little uncomfortable, and that is emotional abuse. This can be you have fallen into emotional abuse, or you are an emotional abuse victim. And there's about half a dozen or so, maybe a few more things that I want to kind of talk about with that. Certainly, emotional abuse is the use of an emotional reaction to elicit a reaction from another person in order to control a situation. That's the simplest of definition. And unfortunately, most of us learn these tactics from family dynamics and or if we've been bullied. So a lot of times we may become emotional abusers without even realizing it until someone brings it to light, or we actually do the self-introspection of going, hey, wait, I might be, doing things that people could see in that light. A lot of it's unintentional, a lot of it's pattern, so we may not even realize how we come across to others until someone points it out. And a lot of it takes some retraining of how we view ourselves and the world around us in order to, kind of change that. So it's important to see that sometimes we can be unintentionally harmful, and if we're willing to reflect on that and understand that it comes from a desire for control, we can modify behaviors. So the first is kind of overly joking with somebody. Joking is wonderful, and humor is one of the most valuable things in connecting people with each other. However, there are times at which you can push a joke too far. And the minute somebody says, hey, that stung, or hey, that's uncomfortable, or hey, could you not say that, or hey, I don't want to talk about that, maybe you push it one more time. Sometimes, if you really know the person well, oh, come on, relax. And then they go, no, this is too far. But even if you don't know a person well, or if they're really a sensitive person, one and done is all you need to do. But when you push beyond somebody saying no, most of the time, once, on rare occasions twice, when you go beyond twice, you're becoming a bully and you are abusing that person because they're going to change their behavior to avoid the discomfort that ultimately they may feel around that topic. And so if they feel the need to change themselves, that's not cool. Next is ignoring their feelings, which ties in with that. So a lot of times what happens is just because something doesn't bother us, we don't think it should bother another person. And so when we kind of are, what's the big deal, or why are you overreacting? Look, a person is allowed to feel whatever way they feel about a situation. We don't have to agree with a person's feelings in order to honor them. And so if you get into the habit of ignoring a person's feeling or telling someone else how to feel, you're bordering on that emotional abuser because you're trying to change someone to have your worldview without validating how they feel themselves. Now, you don't have to agree, and you can even agree to disagree, and maybe it changes how you view the relationship, and maybe it changes how you interact with them in the future. But ignoring how someone feels or devaluing it is never cool. The next is using leverage to embarrass someone. So that could be something as simple as gossip, or that could be something as simple as, retelling a story in a social situation that they told you in confidence or they thought was in confidence. Or that could be needling someone about something that they're sensitive about and you know it, which is kind of overlapping into the next one, which is triggers. When you trigger someone to get a reaction or to get them to be leverageable, then you're abusing your knowledge of their emotion and their belief system. And emotional leverage is a much wider topic, but it's important. Many times communication is done to build bonds, but also with an abusive individual, it's done to control situations. And so if you find yourself leveraging another person's emotions, in other words, if I say this, they'll react this way, and then I can use their reaction to get me here. So you're planning out your interactions with a person like a chess move, and you're using their triggers or things that make them uncomfortable to elicit emotions. That is where emotional abuse comes from, and a lot of times that can also overlap into another form, which is gaslighting. So telling a person that what they believe or how they perceive the world is wrong in some way, or invalidating a person's experience of something. Look, you don't have to see things the way another person does, but you do, if you're a caring and kind person, you do have to at least consider that they may have a different worldview than you, they may have a different experience than you, and that they have the right to have that experience. You don't have to agree. You don't have to be in comfort with them, but you do have to at least consider that they have the right, uh, you know, to be kind of in a different mental and emotional space than you are. The next is using the silent treatment or withholding of affection or validation as a way to get an emotional reaction. So we can convince people to conform based on kind of withholding something they want: affection, physical affection, sexuality, time spent, humor, conversation, being silent in general. All of these things can be used to elicit certain reactions, and when they are in fact used to elicit certain reactions, that is not only damaging, but it's also a form of abuse and control, which, especially if we grew up in a household where that was acceptable behavior, we may not even see that as anything other than, look, I didn't like how you reacted, so I checked out of the conversation. Well, doing that once or twice over, several months or a year, not a big deal. We all have bad days. But if that becomes a habit in the way you communicate, then there is an abusive motive behind that. And so hopefully this has been helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.